But if I hear me fill up.
Oh, this is oh, da, oh, dready me. Abla Rosie, Samika Semyara, Nyawa Mia, Mire Frido.
Saga.
Oh, this is oh, da, me. Oh, dready me. Abla Rosie, Samika Semyara, Nyawa Mia, Mire Frido.
Saga.
Oh, this is oh, da, me. Oh, dready me. Abla Rosie, Samika Semyara, Nyawa Mia.
City 97.3. Accra.
Detailed news, unparalleled coverage. City News on 97.3 FM.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
City News.
It's 17:30 GMT. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. I am Umaru Sanda Amadou. Tonight, I'm here with
Hawa Idrisu Mustafa.
And coming up over the next 90 minutes, blackout in the House of Parliament as people got stuck in lifts and a general disruption in business. Was it doomsday or the non-payment of utilities? Former Energy Minister says it's a huge issue of load shedding that is coming up. We'll be interrogating the issues for you here on Eyewitness News. Also coming up 24 hours after Parliament passed the anti-LGBTQI bill, reactions keep flooding in. The United States of America says it is a worrying situation. And later on Eyewitness News, Dadekotopon NPP boils as party members accuse leadership of the party of trying to impose a parliamentary candidate on their constituency. Stay with 97.3 Citi FM for more on this and many other stories on Eyewitness News. And in business,
energy sector players call for urgent measures to tackle current energy situation.
That's in 15 minutes from the City Business Desk. Eyewitness News is live across Ghana on a host of affiliate stations, including Bugli Radio 88.6 FM in Wa in the Upper West region. We are also in Upper East on Word 88.3 FM in Zwarungu. In the northern region, we are on Dasuma 99.1 FM in Yendi. In the Volta region, catch us on Holy 98.5 FM in Aflao. In the eastern region, we are in Somanya on Right 90.1 FM. In the Ashanti region, we are on Orange 107.9 FM in Kumasi. In the Bono region, we are live on Greener 95.9 FM in Sunyani. In the western region, we are in Takrady on Premier 100.5 FM, Beach 105.5 FM, and Sky Power 93.5 FM. Do send us your messages using the hashtag City Newsroom. Tweet at Umaru Sanda or at City973. You can also send messages on WhatsApp 0549 986 996. 0549 986 996. Let's settle for details of our stories now. Howard has the first story.
The Deputy Clerk of Parliament, Ebenezer Ahoma Jethro, has indicated that the House does not owe the Electricity Company of Ghana. ECG earlier today disconnected Parliament over 23 million cedi debt, plunging the House into darkness. Some staff members were locked up in the elevator on the 5th and 6th floor of the Job 600 building as a result of the power cut. But speaking to City News after a meeting, the Deputy Managing Director of the ECG, Mr. Ahoma Jethro, said subsequent meetings would focus on reconciling payments made.
As far as we are concerned, we have made payments, all the payments we have made. Some have not reflected in their system. That's what I'm saying. Some don't reflect in their system. We have a breakdown. So we showed it to the Deputy Managing Director. I mean, we are just coming from his office. That this is what we have done. Our system, each time they come around, they say, we always say, well, no, this is it. Let's reconcile accounts. So what we have decided to do is to meet and reconcile. We are going to get a bank to extract all the payments we've made in terms of the day's receipt. We have it here so that we back it. When the payment goes, I'm not sure how it's captured. So there's a gap in terms of reconciliation as to what is an outstanding bill. Be that as it may, we have issued a check. We understood that we have an accumulated bill of almost 23 million. No, 23 million. It's not that. We've paid a lot out of that. So what eventually is our outstanding is something 12 point something. We've done a payment transfer of 13 million on the Give Me system to take care of this outstanding. In fact, we did it on the 27th, 2 days ago. There was a meeting between.
But obviously, when you make a payment on that platform, you are going to get some invoice to present to ECG.
We have done a printout. We've done a printout for that.
But you didn't present it to them. That's why
they've seen it. But well, no, sometimes it will not reflect immediately. The Give Me, it takes time because it's a system. It's an integrated system. The acceptable means of making payments.
But what do you make of what ECG did to people today in Parliament?
No, that one is not correct. It's unfortunate.
It was unfortunate.
It's unfortunate. Why? Some members got stuck in the lift. Why? I'm a public servant. I don't speak on air. But these things are very big. We are supposed to be what? Facilitate service provision for members of Parliament. So the moment I heard that, then I rushed here. Because nobody was willing to talk to us. Nobody was willing. You called the task force, they said, call this person, you call the blah, blah, blah. And I realized that we're not making any progress. Let me get to the head office and meet the MD. They were in a meeting. Fortunately, they did a good thing. The MD sent the deputy MD to quickly come and relate to us on this matter. And he came. We showed him all that we had, the receipts we had, and then what we have initiated on the system, And so, he said, okay, we need to make sure our people reconcile, and that was what he said. So immediately he's restoring power.
Ebenezer Ahoma Jethro is the Deputy Clerk of Parliament.
So that happened after he went to the ECG with a team to try and reconcile the figures. Mr. Jethro there suggesting that they had no issues with ECG and that the power outage was unnecessary and should not have happened at all. The House of Parliament was thrown into darkness after the ECG officials arrived at the scene and cut power to the legislative body's premises. Some persons were stuck in the lift of the Job 600, the building that houses offices of members of Parliament. One of the persons who was stuck spoke to Richard Delasky.
I went downstairs, and when I was coming over, from down to the 9th floor, I think somewhere at the second floor, the light went out. So I got stuck in the elevator, and I tried calling the engineers too, but it wasn't going through. The one I had to said he was at the annex. He was coming. I called the other ones too. Still, they were taking time. So I called my colleagues, and they came down there with the military guys. They tried opening the gates so that at least I could take in some air. And it's not a pleasant situation. I could see that I was passing out, and I was out of air, literally in there. But with the help of my colleagues and the security guy, finally, after about 30 minutes of being stuck there, they were able to open it and get me out of there.
How many of you were in the lift? Were you the only person?
Yes, I was the only person in there.
Wow. How would you describe the experience? You said, yes, you were about passing out and all of that, but it must have been very, very, very tragic for you, at least, troubling.
Yeah, sure. I think most of the time, whenever I take the elevator, I just imagine being in the elevator and you being stuck in it, no light in there, how I would feel in there. But I think today I've really got to experience that. Sure. So, but it's not a pleasant situation. It's just like you being locked up in cell or something. Yeah.
But was there any form of light whatsoever in the lift as the light went out? Like maybe some sunlight from somewhere. Could you see anything, or it was just dark inside?
Initially, it was dark, but I think above where the number said, there's a little bulb over there. So it later came on. So it was giving me a little source of light, but I think that wasn't enough. So I had to try and open the first. I think the elevator gate is in layers. So first and second. So I opened the first layer. I was able to open them. But when it got to the second layer, I think that one is automatic also with the light. So I tried. I could just get small space there, and I was trying to call others passing by and knocking on the door, but all of them, they weren't hearing me in there.
So, what was going through your mind as you were in there alone?
Oh God, I didn't plan for this, and I hope this is not going to be my last day. That was what it was.
Wow.
But when I got my colleagues on the line, at least I had some hope that, in no time they can get me out of there.
How difficult was it trying to get you out of there?
I think when they came initially, they used sticks and some metals to try and open the door. But they could just get some small space. But I think they said the engineer, they had some special key that they put in the elevator there to open it, to open the gates wide for me to get out. And I had to jump out because it seems the elevator was in the middle of the floors. So it wasn't at an exact point that I could get out. So I was up a little, so I had to jump out.
And which floors were this?
I think third floor.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. What's your advice or final word to those in charge of this space?
I think, first of all, the keys that the engineers used, at least they should do duplicate of it, and every floor should have it, probably even every office. So in case you call the engineers and you don't get them or they are taking long, you call the anybody in the office or the very floor that you are on. They can at least come and open it for you to come out, and at least they should also try and educate the people on how to go about things when you are stuck in an elevator or something, because I've not been taken through any education or whatsoever with regards to that. Or maybe if you are in it and it gets stuck in it, you shouldn't do anything regularly, because maybe you might use more energy, which will let you pass out. So I think education on how to behave or go about when you are stuck in it is a must.
And do you know of any other person who was also stuck in it? Any other story?
Unfortunately, no. I was the only one.
So you heard a gentleman who was stuck in one of the lifts in Job 600 today when the power went out. And let me say that particular issue was necessitated or orchestrated by the fact that ECG officials arrived and disconnected the facility. And because the ECG held a view that the facility or the House of Parliament was indebted to the ECG. But that notwithstanding, there are several other issues of power outages across the country. If you monitor the social media platforms, people are complaining and lamenting and asking for a timetable to be released so that they would be able to guide or be able to be guided in their daily lives and businesses. That issue has been going on for a while now. The government has not necessarily come out to see what the situation is. Let's speak to a former minister for energy. He was deputy minister for energy. He is currently the deputy minority leader and MP for Elembele. The Honorable Emmanuel Ama Kofi-Boa. Honorable, you're welcome to Eyewitness News.
Yeah, it's good to be here. Thank you very much.
This particular issue, and I'll ask you to comment briefly on what happened in Parliament before we go to the national picture. We understand why you were trying to do your business today. There was doomsday.
Yeah, well, there was an outage in Parliament. I was one of the lucky ones. I think I got in the elevator and suddenly the light went up. But I quickly got up before. Unfortunately, I got a win right there that on the 5th and the 6th floor, people were stuck in it. I personally had to run to the security and the marshal's office to try to make sure they come and help rescue them. And so I rise to the floor of Parliament and elected members of Parliament of the situation. And so, yeah, that was a problem.
Parliament tells us that issue had to do with a challenge with ECG, and that they've just throw your deputy marshal, is it? That's a appropriate title, has gone and dealt with that issue with the ECG. However, nationally, we are seeing a trend of people complaining about power situation. What do you know on the ground?
Well, first of all, let me say that Mr. Jetro is a deputy clerk.
Yes, apologies. That's the title I was looking for. Thank you.
Participation. Importantly, I'm sure that when it comes to Parliament, they are resolving their issues. But yes, there's a larger crisis. And let me start by saying that, you see, anytime politicians get in the way of technical issues like power, especially its day-to-day management, then we have this problem. Today, as we speak, and let me take you to the record, and I'm telling you from the operational room, supply outlook for February 27 was that, let me give you the summary. Consequently, the shortfall was 480 megawatts. So there was a load shedding. 28, the shortfall was 530 megawatts. And the reason was because, as we speak today, TAPCO, which is a critical plant, and TICO, which is also a critical plant in Takoradi, Abuazi, in fact, are completely out. Today, as we speak, yesterday, in fact, we had a challenge with Sun Power and another plant because they couldn't get gas. I think it's AXA. They couldn't get fuel. So, on average, we are talking about load shedding of 500 megawatts. You know what that means? 500 megawatts of load is how much load the whole of Kumasi, in fact, the whole of Ashanti region, Central region, and Western region will use. So if we have 500 megawatts of load shedding at peak time, you are going to have a doomsday. And it is very clear that these power plants are not going to be back anytime soon. It is also clear that some of the plants are having challenges buying fuel. Some of them are using heavy fuel oil, or they are using this because you remember the reverse flow that will bring gas to Tema is not working. And West Africa Gas Pipeline is demanding cash on delivery. And we're having challenges buying the gas from West Africa Gas. So we have all these issues. And so on a daily basis, we are shedding an average load. In the last 3 days, it's been an average load of 400 megawatts. In fact, their own protocol says that if you have this crisis, you announce it and then you do load shedding. As we speak, what is even worse is that the reason I'm talking about 500 megawatt load shedding is because we have curtailed, for example, export to Cote d'Ivoire has been reduced by 30 megawatts. Export to Benin has been reduced by 50 megawatts. So all these exports to Togo, Benin, and Cote d'Ivoire, that gives this VRA and others, their forest has been cut. They've been forced to cut it. And you know, these companies are crying because that's where they get their foreign money. So if we did not cut those things, then we'll be talking about almost 800 megawatts. We are in crisis. And the reason we are where we are is because this is a government that has played with the energy sector and is going to catch up with me. But let me give you a little history. You see, Kwame Nkrumah, Osajifo of blessed memory, brought us Akusopo. 1965. We never added any generation until 1972. Well, and between those times, we started having problems. So, on that champion, every time we are adding generation, we had crisis. In 1989, we started having another crisis. We brought TAPCO. In 2000, it took the intervention of President Clinton for us to get eco crisis. For the 8 years of President Kufuor, we have what they call the mining reserve plant, an emergency 50 megawatts. And there was some attempt to try to address power sector. By the time they left for 8 years, I can tell you the regeneration capacity, actual infusion of generation was not more than 150 megawatts. So obviously by 2009, when the NDC came to power, we have inherited crisis. So if you see former President Mahama getting into high gear and added over 1,000 megawatts of generation, not stopping there, bringing Ghana into the gas area by making sure we have over 350 million cubic feet of gas a day because of our trouble and the ENI Sankofa. What another government must do is that when you come in, you look at the fact that on an annual basis, there's growth in demand for power. So you need to start gauging it and dealing with those issues. What this government has done in the last 7 years has been just propaganda talk. NDC has oversubscribed power purchase agreement. NDC has brought take or pay and basically made propaganda for 7 years. Just the last 2 days, the president comes to parliament and says that they are still in negotiation to try to make sure they save money on take or pay. Guess what? After 7 years, they now wake up in their slumber. The Minister of Energy just announced that they have now gone back to sign a PPA with AXA. AXA that we had brought a plan and they claimed that it was take or pay. They now go back after 7 years and sign PPA. That power plant is not going to be ready to address the problem I'm talking about. So guess what? History, and I'm projecting it, I'm predicting it, history is going to repeat itself because of the failure to deal with the energy sector. As I speak to you, in the last 7 years, no addition of any gas project. So we are stuck. When we brought this guy, we told Ghana that the fuel problem has been temporarily resolved, but it's for 20 years. And we need to continue focus to add more. For 7 years, go to the upstream sector. We are stuck with 3 producing fields and the gas we have. Nothing else has been added. So when I tell you that this government has been a complete failure in the energy sector, and as a result, we are going to have challenge. The financial issues are even getting worse because the formulas for addressing those financial issues, ESLA, and all, as you know, has not been handled the way it should be. So we are in where we are because of the things I've described. We are shedding loads of 500, and because this government has been bragging that they don't have any problem in the energy sector, they are forcing the technical people at Greco and others to not to come out to tell Ghanaians that we have a problem. We do have a problem. We are shedding load, and there's a need, an urgent need for a load shedding schedule for the people of Ghana to know that we are shedding load. Guess what? We used to bring those timetable when there's even 100 megawatt or 200 megawatt load shedding. And I'm talking about over 500 megawatts. But, you know, we are not surprised because in the last 7 years, we've seen how this government operates. They say one thing from the left of their mouth and do the other one. We've talked about oversubscription of PA to the extent that we have even been slapped with judgment debt on GC over how many millions of dollars because we canceled abruptly a PPA. Today, we are facing the brunt of it. This is a government that told the whole Ghana that Ameri is such a useless project and that is going to cost Ghanaians money when they got the power. That's for the intervention of the NDC minority who have been saddled with another 1 billion. And today, Ameri is paid for. In the president's own statement just 2 days ago, he now tells the people of Ghana that Ameri is so useful that part of the plan has been moved to Ahumasu in the Ashanti region and is going to be used there. So the people of Ghana, when President Mahama says that history is always the best judge, there it is for you. This is the government. But the sad news is that because of their failure to tackle the energy sector issues I've described, I am very sure the NDC, God willing, will come to power. And President Mahama will have to revisit all this failure to address, keep our eye on the ball in the last 7 years to 8 years.
Okay. Now, you've said that based on all your projections, history is bound to repeat itself. And history here would mean power outages. Depends on which one you want. You can use the 2007 one or the 2014 one.
Depending on that.
Yeah.
Yes. And I'm saying to you that
So my question is coming through. Is it too late for the government to be able to avert that, or you think the government cannot steer the ship of power away from that iceberg and we are bound to crash?
We kept giving them the warning signs that please stop talking like that. So if you had oversubscribed power, today when TAPCO and TIGO are out, where are the additional power? You could have brought them in. But you see, they had been banding that around. So they just couldn't help themselves. Now they are rushing to sign a PPA agreement. And they just signed it with AXA. But I'm telling you that even that agreement cannot be implemented for us to infuse that power quickly enough before we get into crisis.
But I'm curious, why are we signing new power agreements when we have always heard that there is excess capacity? Do we truly need more power?
That is what the question you should go and ask the Minister of Energy, who signed it. In fact, when you ask him additional questions. Minister, if we have so much power, why did you sign this new PPA? And I thought that you said that the NDC is bad negotiator, so they signed a take or pay. Why did you sign a take or pay agreement? You see, my brother, we have a problem.
So it's a finance issue then?
Yes, there's a combination of that because, for example, I told you that when we were leaving power, we had said that we needed this financial solution to address the outstanding energy sector debt of 1.2 billion. You remember when they came, they started banding around that, we lied, that the debt is not 1.2, is 1.6 billion. Well, just the last 2 days, the president now says it's 1.2 billion. Now, why is it that we couldn't even pay that off? Because what we did was that we came and the energy sector levy was, as usual, we set up what they call energy sector PLC. And we have not aggressively addressed those payments in addressing those debts. And also the structure that was made to make sure that the collection by ECG, remember, ECG is at the end of the value chain. And ECG is critical in everything we are talking about. They are supposed to be able to be so efficient, collect the money and pay. My brother, I'm not going to upset the people of Ghana, but guess what? President John Mahama, knowing that after we had addressed the issue of power and gas, the next important thing was to address distribution and how we are efficient in making sure we collect enough money to pay this bill. We're waiting for money to strengthen UCG. You remember the Millennium Challenge money of 500 million? What happened?
The PDS deal.
We brought PDS, and guess what? Corrupt deals. We formed a company that was not more than 2 weeks old. And we're supposed to bring foreign partners, and they were supposed to bring enough money. The local partners didn't bring enough money. The foreign partners said, if you didn't bring money, why should we bring money? In the end, they collected the people of Ghana's money. And today, up to today, we don't even know how much PDS collected. We've not audited them. The Americans got angry, and they took the rest of the 200 million away. The people of Ghana cannot forget that. These are the people who want to stay in power again.
Just to be sure, based on the statistics you have, do we have enough power, or there's a need for us to have some more generation?
There is a need for us to look. There's an annual demand growth of over 200 megawatts. And the Energy Commission has the responsibility to do those projections. But the technical people are always afraid to come out to say that, Mr. Politician, stop talking like that. Demand is growing. We need to add generation. And so they will bundle all those things around and throw numbers until we are in crisis. And I've given you the history.
Okay.
So today we have load shedding because those power plants are down. You are supposed to have always at least 20% of a reserve to deal with the situations I'm talking about in terms of energy sector planning. These people have just failed to do that. And so anytime we have a hitch like we have, we are exposed. That's what we are dealing with.
You have said that we are unable to honor our obligation to our partners, and I mean foreign partners who buy power from us.
Yeah, the foreign, yes.
So so if we are not able to supply power to Ivory Coast based on a contract we have with them, for instance, now that we are breaching that, are there consequences?
Well, currently, let me correct it. We are still supplying them some power. We just cut the contractual volumes that we're supposed to give them. Because I am sure that in the agreement, if we ourselves have crisis, we are not under obligation to give them the total number. So, for example, I know for a fact that yesterday, Côte d'Ivoire, we were supposed to give them 110 megawatt. We gave them 80 megawatt. We cut it. But I'm telling you that also has implications for the power agencies because it also translates into forest or money, dollars that they need, critically need, not the city. So anytime they are forced to cut all this. And remember, one of the reasons we were doing what we were doing is that we were being strategic. Energy security is everything. And in the sub-region, we needed to be in control of the sub-region when it comes to strategic energy security. Every West African country should be bound to it when they need power. That's how important. That's why today when you go to Benin, they call electricity Akosombo because strategically for the longest time, all they know is Ghana supplies as Akosombo. Our leadership in the energy sector is being eroded because we are not being strategic.
Thank you for speaking to us, and let's pray that it doesn't get to the levels you describe. That's Honorable Emmanuel Amakofi-Boa, his Deputy Minority Leader, of the House of Parliament, a former Minister Deputy for Energy and MP for Elembele. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. We have some reactions from government.
The Minister for Land and Natural Resources, Samuel Abdullahi Jinapor, says the erratic power supply under the Akufo-Addo government is far better than what was witnessed under the Mahama-led administration. In a debate on the State of the Nation address on the floor of Parliament, Samuel Abdullahi Jinapor highlighted the impact of Dumso on Ghanaians under the Mahama government.
The last time President Mahama was at the helm of affairs of this country, that for 4 years, the Honorable John Jinapor, Member of Parliament for Yape Kosogo, talks about lights going off yesterday and talks about lights going off this afternoon. Mr. Speaker, lights went off yesterday. That is correct. Lights went off this afternoon. That is correct. Ghanaians went through inconveniences yesterday. That is correct. They will go through inconveniences as a result of lights off this afternoon. Mr. Speaker, that is correct. But Mr. Speaker, Ghanaians certainly do not have a short memory. They do not have a short memory. For 4 years, what we experienced yesterday and what we are experiencing this afternoon, we experienced it for 4 continuous years. And what are they telling us, Mr. Speaker? Where are we beginning the comparison from? A comparison of Dumso, of yesterday, of today, of 48 hours, as opposed to 4 good years? Mr. Speaker, and what is more, Mr. Speaker? What is more about the 24-hour economy? At the time the lines went off for 4 years, Mr. Speaker, carpenters could not work. Welders could not work. Mr. Speaker, we all saw stories of cold stores closing down. We saw ice water sellers who could not look after their families. Mr. Speaker, thousands and billions of small industries had to close down. 4 years, you could not provide a 12-hour economy. You couldn't put the light on for 12 hours. Ghanaians did not have economy for 12 hours. Well, they do not have economy for 12 hours. You're going to tell us about 24-hour economy. So you can let them come again.
That was the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Samuel Abdullahi Jinapor. The executive director of the Institute for Energy Security, Nana Amoisi VII, has called on the Electricity Company of Ghana, ECG, to immediately publish a load-shedding timetable. Nana Amoisi VII, speaking on the City Breakfast Show earlier today, observed that the power outage, otherwise called Doomso, will persist until enough revenue is generated from the sale of power to pay producers. He thus urged the ECG and Gridco to come clean with Ghanaians and publish a load-shedding timetable.
Even the babies that are being fed can feel doomsday. And unfortunately, Gridco is not churning out any information to the public. Gridco sits at the control center of the power sector, and they're able to see which of the power plants are dispatching power and tell why others are not dispatching. And so Gridco must explain to Ghanaians why we are going through this. The ECG knows very well that it's receiving inadequate amount of power from the transmitter Gridco, and that volume is not able to meet our peak demand. And Gridco and ECG is also quiet and unwilling to issue out a timetable to forewarn consumers for planning purposes. And we are believing that they are playing into the political game. They must go about their business and they must inform their consumers what the situation is. So long as we don't generate much money from the sale of power to be able to pay the producers that we have come to find out from there will keep on threatening us and will keep on playing, the way politicians want them to play. And so do so will be with us.
Nana Amoisi VII is the executive director of the Institute for Energy Security.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
You Papa see that? And it's rickety car. Hey, Papa!
Bobo, so how your engine now?
It is half man, half amazing. Thanks to Quartz and you can feel better energy. Can't touch this. Actually, guys, so Sancho's engine just died like that? Yes, so somebody managed to convince him that there is a better engine oil than Quartz, and he switched. Sancho Panzapa. Now, which engine oil can be better than Quartz? No other, my guy. Quartz with its age-resistant technology, it keeps your engine younger for longer. Now you know. Have you guys seen the new bottle design? It's superb. Quartz 9000 from Total Energies there improves fuel efficiency. Why do you think Mr. Mane and Logoso have taken the Quartz Nation movement World Cup like that? Sorry. Chairman. Quartz. Keep your engine younger for longer.
I'm on way. Yeah. Media Sambisanda mo. Eti emro tie no. Mumu hwan pa na tumi fi na mo bodom pe mo man yakono. Eye kwabna. Na mumu hwan so na tumi just mali me ma yene nyina de. Eye kojo. Yampa. Enu kro. Kobre tumi wi na bodom pe mo sense o yisu president eba. Aye den oban ne do braye. Bu si echi na mo hoban na sem ma na hoode ne. Sa. Ani na kudwo so yisu president chako. Na enu ne de e ma wo se wo ye klejen fita. Na watimi asiri my man feel you. Hey, Kojo, sir. Yeah. Pepsodent Eba and a Pepsodent Taco. A idea. You're gonna natural.
FDIJ Jadian Katuyatu.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/City97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/City973, and Instagram at instagram.com/City973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
You're welcome back. The Ghana Refugee Board says it is taking data on the number of Liberian refugees affected by the demolition exercise at Bujumbura in the central region. About 600 Liberians and Ghanaians have been rendered homeless as a result of a demolition exercise carried out by the Gomuafete Traditional Council last Tuesday. The council says the exercise is to create space for the development of a market for traders who have been affected by the ongoing expansion of the Kasua-Winneba Highway. Speaking to City News on the development, the Executive Director of the Ghana Refugee Board, Tete Padi, said staff of the board are in the area to get data on the number of refugees affected for relocation.
Not everybody at Bujumbura is a refugee. many of them, the large majority of them are not refugees, even if they are Liberians. It's just a few people. You mentioned the figure 600. These are people who were exempted from the cessation clause, the effects of the cessation clause, when the Liberians ceased to be refugees. Indeed, not all of them are refugees, but most of them, and we are registering these people. We are taking a list of these people so that we relocate them to a refugee camp in the Western region. Those who are Liberians and are refugees. Many Liberians there. There are many Liberians there, but not all of them are. So the number we are working with will depend on the number of people who have been affected. Because not everybody who is a Liberian refugee has been affected by this. So it's definitely going to be less than that 600. As I speak, we are compiling the data. Our staff are at the Bram at the moment compiling the data. So once we have who's been affected, we are moving them immediately.
Executive Director of the Ghana Refugee Board, Tete Paddy. The Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority says it is committed to reducing the duration for clearing goods at the port by 50%. Currently, it takes about 10 to 12 days to clear goods at the Tema port, 7 days at the Kotoka International Airport, and 3 days at land borders, according to findings from a recent study. Speaking to the media on the sidelines of a stakeholders' engagement on the implementation of the Times release study, the Commissioner of Customs, Seydou Idi Idisa, expressed confidence in cutting down the time drastically.
The study revealed that it varies from port to port. Tema Port, it takes an average of 10 days to clear goods from Tema Port. And it also depends on the regime. When we talk of regime, we are talking of whether the goods are cleared for home consumption or for transit. Each of them has this, but it takes an average of 10 to 12 days. But at the KIA, it is about 7 days. And the land borders are much faster. They are about 2 to 3 days. But we have also, and clearing of goods is not just one agency. We deal with several agencies, and both governmental and private. And we have done the study covering all stakeholders who are involved. And we have identified areas that delays the early release of goods and what we can do to shorten the time at all the borders.
We had the Commissioner of Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority, Seydou Idi Idisa.
This Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. We are coming to you from our studios in Adabraka in Accra, and we are around the globe on citynewsroom.com. Yesterday, the House of Parliament passed the anti-LGBTQI bill, which has been before the House for 3 years now. Following the passage, we've seen a reaction from the United States government saying that it is a concerning issue and talks about the economic challenges that may particularly come with. Now, before the bill was passed and before it was introduced, there were supporters of the bill. Various groupings had gone in there to defend, and a few other groups have also gone in there to oppose. One of the groups that were defending the bill, the draft bill at the time, is the Catholic Bishops' Conference. The president of the Catholic Bishops' Conference has joined me on the line. Most Reverend Matthew Jemfi, you're welcome to Eyewitness News.
Thank you very much for the invitation.
Yesterday, the House of Parliament passed the bill against LGBTQI, the promotion and practice of same. As a church, what is your reaction hearing that?
Well, generally, the bill that is passed is what the church was also asking for. Generally, we wanted same-sex activities and relationships to be abolished from our country because it's not part of our culture, it's not part of our religion, and most Ghanaians from the survey that was done didn't like it. So that is what Parliament has done generally, and therefore we think generally what the church was asking for and what the church was expecting Parliament to do, Parliament has done that generally, and we agree with what they have done.
When you keep using the word generally, it presupposes that there are some specific issues you have issue with.
Yes, you see that we were talking about the implementation as priests, as a church, and as a body that deals with human beings. Punishment that should result from those who infringe on this law. What sort of punishment should be given them? And Parliament says, once you make the law and I don't do this and somebody infringes upon it, the person should be punished. There are punishments. So that was where you heard that you were talking about criminalization of this activity. And the church was saying we should be very, very slow and, if possible, not to criminalize it. And that is why I'm saying that even though they have condemned, they have abolished it, the punishment seems to be more in line with a crime that has been committed, as we heard Parliament. And that is of some concern to many people, especially Catholics, and the way we view human beings and the way we view punishment. And that is why I keep saying, generally, yes, abolition, we are completely in favor, but the punishment that is associated with those who infringe on the law is a little bit of concern to us. But this is Parliament, and people have their views here and there, and many people send in things. So we cannot have it all. We still have suggestions to make as to how this punishment could be implemented.
So is it your view that there should be no punishment at all, or the punishment should not be in the mode or form that it is? Currently, it is up to 5 years. Are you saying that it should not be custodial, the punishment should be in another form, or there should be no punishment at all for engaging in LGBTQI or promoting it?
You see, punishment, from our understanding, and here again, once again, I'm speaking as a clergyman, is the purpose of punishment is three main things. First is to scare people so that they don't do that again. Again, it is to correct the person who has committed the offense. And then the other one is to inflict some pain, once again, which is related to the first reason, so that other people seeing this punishment will not commit this thing. And we think that in case of this particular law and the way it's being implemented, being placed in prison as the punishment that they have chosen, it is not going to solve the problem. Because, you see, if you run up same-sex people, and you know our prisons, they are going to end up in the same room. And what is going to prevent them from going through these activities in the prisons? And you are not going to put them there forever, because they are going to be there for 3 months to 6 months. Then they may practice this. And then they come out even more experts at it than when we send them there. Then you release them back into society. So what is going to happen? That is why we were concerned about a punishment that will correct them, that will reform them. So if the government is going this way or Parliament is going this way, that's why I'm saying we are suggesting that in the prison there, they should add more the corrective and reformation or reform measures to these people so that they come out and they have changed. They have been reformed, or at least many of them, or at least they have been taught so many things about this behavior and how they got in there, so that they come out better than when they entered. But if they come back worse than the situation in which they entered, then we are all in trouble. And that will not be that will not achieve the goal that we are all looking for.
What would you rather happened? So instead of custodial sentence where they are sent to prison, what would be your alternative?
Yes. So the alternative is this. It may be very slow, but it will work to some significant degree. You see, that is why the law also says those who promote this behavior, and that means they are going against this law that Parliament has now made. Those people to be punished. Those are the ones to be criminalized. The promotion and the encouragement to people to get involved in this. If they stop that, then many young people will not learn this behavior. They won't try it. And therefore, those who are going into this behavior reduce significantly, as it used to be in the past. It has always been there. But because it was not being promoted and people look on that this is not part of it, those who were naturally or so-called naturally not inclined, they would not even experiment with it, let alone to get addicted to it. So that will reduce the number. And those people who promote it should be criminalized. Now, those who already get involved in the real act of behavior, now we hear and we know that there are counseling centers, even medical disciplines and other things where these people should be bundled or placed, and they are compulsorily made to go through this cure, this counseling, this service, like alcoholics, like drug addicts, like this. And once you have made a law, is to correct these people who have gotten addicted to this. And this sort of a type of punishment or imprisonment like that is more corrective, more reformative, and they will come back to society whole and will contribute their quota. Remember, these people are our own sons and daughters. They are our nephews and nieces, our brothers and sisters. And we have to do things so that it does not hurt them and not correct them, but things that will still hurt them, but then it will reform them and correct them and bring them back better.
Reverend, the Pope, and I mean your current Pope, the head of the Catholic Church, has been making comments in recent times, which comments have been attributed by pro-LGBTQI advocates that he is taking a progressive stance. His latest comments, blessing for same-sex couples under certain conditions. It appears the head of your church is showing some level of tolerance for LGBTQI activities. And yet locally here, you are welcoming with open arms the passage of a law that proscribes it. Even though you do not agree that they should be sent to jail, you agree that it should be unlawful. How do you marry the two?
Well, what I would say is that the press and LGBT people, they listen to the Pope and they listen to him from one side. We condemn as a church universally, and the Pope condemns same-sex activities. But the person as such, we should differentiate between the act and the person who is the victim of the act. So when the Pope talks of being merciful and kind to those who commit this act, that is what he's talking about, the human person who is involved in that. And it is in that line that I'm saying the same thing the Pope is saying, that let's help these people. Do not let us throw them away as if they are some people who should be condemned forever and just inflict some pain into them without going beyond that to reform them, to correct them. But the act itself of homosexuality, we call it disordered. It's not ordinary. It's not normal. It's an aberration, a deviation. And that act is not entertained by the Pope or by the church or by any clergyman. And that is why those who promote such acts, Parliament should go ahead, and the state and the church itself does not accept same-sex marriage. Nowhere has the Pope said he accepts same-sex marriage. Rather, he should help these people to correct, to reform them. And that is what the Pope has been saying. So he makes a distinction between the act as an act like murder is wrong. But should we not help the murderer to reform so that he does not commit the murder again? Okay. And it is the same that we are talking about here.
Finally, the president is yet to sign the bill. That's the only time it will become law. There are calls on him not to sign. Are you going to invite the president to sign or not to sign the bill?
Well, you see, the president is the father of the nation. And we believe he will do what is in the best interest of the country. And I cannot imagine the president not seeing the good in this law. He may make certain corrections, like what I have said. Okay, put them in the prison, then what? So he may add, okay, they are in prison, but while they are in prison, let us have certain reforms so that they come back to society more human, more like many of us than they entered into the prison. But I don't think the president will say he will not sign it, especially when he knows that a huge majority, overwhelming majority of the people in Ghana are in support of this law. And he does what the people think is good for them, and what he also knows is actually indeed good for the people.
Very well. Thank you so much for speaking to us, sir.
You are most welcome. Thank you so much.
That's Most Reverend Matthew James Jimfi. He's the president of the Catholic Bishops Conference. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. We are coming to you from our studios in Adabraka in Accra. We are also live across the globe on citynewsroom.com. How are some other stories?
The government says its gold for oil policy helped reduce the country's inflation rate from 54.1% to 23.5% in January 2024. The policy was introduced by the government in an attempt to tackle Ghana's dwindling foreign currency reserves, coupled with the demand for dollars by oil importers, which was weakening the cedi and increasing cost of living. In moving the motion for the commencement of debate on the 2024 State of the Nation address by President Akufo-Addo, the Minister of State designate for the Finance Ministry, Abnaose Asare, touted the successes of the intervention.
In December 2020, inflation went as high as 54.1%. But as we speak, in January 2024, it has reduced significantly to 23.4%, 23.5%. Mr. Speaker, while BOG did their part, the government also saw the need to address the two most important things that were affecting the rate of inflation. One had to do with food, and that is why government came up with the phase 2 of the planting for food and jobs to increase food output. Again, government worked with BOG in the goal for oil to stabilize exchange rate as well as bring some stability to our fuel prices. And this has affected inflation numbers greatly. And that is how come you see inflation dropping from 54.1% in December 2022 to 23.5% in January 2022. Mr. Speaker, again, this same gold for oil program with the gold purchase program by BOG improved the strength of the cedi greatly.
Minister of State designates for the Finance Ministry, Abnaose Asare. The Koforidua Command of the Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority has intercepted 40 uncustomed vehicles said to have been brought into the country without going through the laid-down procedures. The 40 vehicles were rounded up during a 2-week enforcement exercise in the Koforidua zone. A total of 110 uncustomed vehicles were intercepted last year, bringing the total number of impounded vehicles to 150. Briefing the media after the exercise, Assistant Commissioner and Sector Commander of the Koforidua Collection Customs Division, Mary Ann Okuno, says the vehicle owners would be made to pay fines enshrined in the Customs Act 89 or be prosecuted.
Vehicles were intercepted in our region. That was 2023. And this year, we recently finished one. That was last week. And we had 40 just last week. So within the 2 weeks that task force was on the road, we've had 40 vehicles. And that is the reason why we feel we should caution the public.
The command also raised concerns about the abuse of the transit regime, where importers divert vehicles meant for neighboring Burkina Faso to Ghana to avoid payment of duties.
Through our enforcement duties, we realize that there are so many uncustomed vehicles in town, and we think it is prudent to educate the public, especially those who innocently fall victim to these embarrassments that our vehicle operations cause them. So that's the main reason why I invited you here. You asked why there are so many uncustomed vehicles in the country. And honestly, I've always said that if I hadn't come to Koforidua, I didn't know there were so many vehicles being driven around without custom duties having paid on them. So through our operations, we realized that the legal means that are being abused, and then the illegal means that is smuggling. The legal means which are being abused are as follows. People are abusing the ECOWAS protocol on the free movement of persons, right of residence, establishments, which allows the temporary importation of passenger vehicles by citizens of the ECOWAS member states.
Mary Ann Okuno is Assistant Commissioner and Sector Commander of the Koforidua Collection Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
You know, Papa, see that? And it's rickety car. Hey, Papa!
Bobo, so how your engine now?
It is half man, half amazing. Thanks to Quartz and you. Can't feel better energy.
Can't touch this.
Charlie, guys, so Sancho's engine just died like that? Yes, so somebody managed to convince him that there is a better engine oil than Quartz, and he switched. Sancho Panzapa. Now, which engine oil can be better than Quartz? No other, my guy. Quartz with its age-resistant technology, it keeps your engine younger for longer. Now you know. Have you guys seen the new bottle design? It's superb. Quartz 9000 from Total Energies there improves fuel efficiency. Why do you think Mr. Mane and Logoso have taken the Quartz Nation movement World Cup like that? Sorry. Chema. Quartz. Keep your engine younger for longer.
Babe, what do you want for Valentine's Day this year?
Mamu.
Really? See, how about a vacation at a posh, romantic hotel just for a few days?
Nope. Just Momo.
But why?
It's because everything you mentioned is up for grabs in the Momo Valentine's promo offer.
Make this Valentine a season of love to remember. Just pay your bills and shopping with the Momo app or *170# and stand a chance to win a 2-night stay at a romantic 4-star resort with your partner. Once you pay your bills with Momo, you automatically qualify for the raffle. Keep paying to increase your chances of winning and discover Sikakakra or Dokakra this Valentine.
But why didn't you say so?
Enter this Momo Valentine promo today. This promotion is regulated by the National Lottery Authority on the Caritas Lottery platform. T's and C's apply. MTN.
KB, aka
aka Kubeboga, now drives a Bugatti. He can even travel by road from Accra to London. Oh, wow. KB's source of wealth is agriculture. Yes, coconut business. After losing his bank job, he started supplying coconuts at events. Now, he owns large coconut plantations and employs many young people. Charlie, we all need to trust the process, because hope days.
There has never been a better time to enter into agribusiness. Take a bold step today with the Ghana Grows program, because every step pays. Ejuma Wokro, Ghana Grows, Hope Day, an initiative of the MasterCard Foundation in partnership with Springboard Roadshow Foundation and Limehouse.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Get the details. Every significant financial transaction, every market movement, and all the policies that affect your business. Citi Business News. Be informed.
Time now for Citi Business News on Eyewitness News, brought to you by GCB Bank PLC. GCB Personal Loan, make that big move and dream a reality. My name is Hawa Idrisu Mustafa. Details of our stories now. The Executive Director of the African Center for Energy Policy, Ben Boakye, has expressed concerns over the inefficiencies and waste plaguing the energy sector. The situation, as highlighted by the Executive Director, revolves around the mounting debt owed to power generators, transmission entities, and fuel suppliers, jeopardizing the entire energy value chain. Reacting to concerns that President Akufo-Addo focused on only the outstanding payments to power generators during his State of the Nation address, Ben Boakye explains that a comprehensive solution to the challenges faced by the energy sector is critical to the sector's growth.
Now we can't sell electricity and make money to pay the value chain. So those who are generating power are owed, those who are transmitting power are owed, those who are supplying fuel are owed. And the only thing we hear from the president is that we want to isolate the cost of fuel and just discuss what we owe the generators of power. I don't think that's how you address the problem. Either way, the cost burden is on the people. The cost burden is on the citizens. So whether it is 1.2 billion or 1.6 billion, we are in the billions. And that is scary enough for us to have heard how we stop that kind of bleeding of our resources, but rather channel the revenues to development. Because what we need to be able to build the schools, the hospitals, and take care of our people, the vulnerable people of this country, is what we are using to pay electricity bill, because people are failing to deliver on their responsibility to ensure that power generated can be sold.
Executive Director of the African Center for Energy Policy, Ben Boakye. Director of the Center for Social Policy Studies at the University of Ghana, Professor Nana Akua-Anyidoho, has criticized the hasty implementation of the electronic transfer levy, describing it as regressive. The government introduced the e-levy in May 2022 as part of measures to increase revenue. Speaking to Citi Business News on the sidelines of a tax forum organized by the International Center for Tax and Development and the Ghana Revenue Authority, Professor Anyidoho emphasized that the electronic transfer levy places a heavy burden on low-earning populations in the country.
E-levy is a flat tax, so it's a tax that has the same rate regardless of your income. So by definition, it will be regressive in that the relative amounts that people pay will be higher for people who are low-income earners. In other words, the proportion of your income that is being taxed, if you are low-income earner, that proportion will be higher than somebody who has a lot of money and is being taxed at the same rate. So that's why we found that it was highly regressive in the research that we did. There are people who earn more money who might be able to avoid taxes more effectively than, if you think about it, market women who are sitting there and they are approached by local government people to pay their taxes. So the idea that there are people, especially in the informal sector, who are not paying taxes and we need to go after them because they are evading taxes, I think we need to rethink it, because people already do pay quite a bit. And then secondly, if you are coming up with a tax like this, you have to think about the impact on especially the people that you want to protect.
That was Director of the Center for Social Policy Studies at the University of Ghana, Professor Nana Ikuya Anyidoho. The Association of Ghana Industries has reiterated the need for government to provide adequate resources to enhance research and development infrastructure and promote industry academia collaborations to nurture a vibrant startup ecosystem. According to the Chief Executive of the Association of Ghana Industries, Seth Chuma, this is a strategic tool for development and to build an innovation-driven economy. He made a call at the maiden edition of the African Research and Innovation Commercialization Summit 2024 in Accra.
In other countries, they have what they call business incubators who experiment the innovations that have been done and then commercialization. So this chain is very important. In some big companies, all can be put together because they have the capacity, they have the institutional labs and capacity to do this. If you talk to the big companies like the Nestle's, the Guinnesses, the multinationals, they have the labs and they have people within who do this research for them. So through that, they are able to innovate. But what about our SMEs? A lot of our companies in Ghana are SMEs. Do they have the capacity to do their own research? No. Even the very big companies we talked of, the example Nana gave was typical. Even then, they still need research institutions to come out with innovations and research for their products. So it's very important that we appreciate the role of our research institutions and partner them to really get the innovations we need in our businesses. Clearly, government has a role to play. I talked about business incubation, and business incubation does not come cheap. It is normally not done by individual private sector enterprises. They don't have the capacity, and that's where government comes in. It also means that adequate resources must be committed to research and development.
Seth Chuma is Chief Executive of the Association of Ghana Industries. Now, Vivo Energy Ghana, a Shell licensee, has launched its latest motor engine oil, Shell Helix Ultra Zero W20 XP. The lubricant has been designed with high technology from Shell and it operates at maximum level to save cost on fuel. Marketing manager of Vivo Energy Ghana, Kweku Sechikan, has been speaking to the media on why vehicle owners should choose Shell Helix Ultra Zero W20 SP.
And it is therefore ideal for vehicles that have been recommended by the original equipment manufacturers to be using that particular specification, which is the 0W20. What is unique about this oil is that it helps to reduce the carbon emissions into the environment, and therefore it is environmentally friendly. In terms of the mileage it covers up to 50% more, and therefore it can go up to about 10,000 kilometers with an oil change. And therefore, it ends up saving the customer money in terms of the frequency of oil change.
Marketing manager of Vivo Energy Ghana, Kweku Sechikan, technical lead for Vivo Energy Ghana, Kofi Boachi Ajuman, has been speaking on how different their latest product is from the others on the market.
All right, so this oil is specially formulated for gasoline engines. It has the best of technology. This oil was built from the Pure Plus technology, a novel technology from Shell. This technology was researched into 40 years in terms of the performance that it gives to your engine. This is top-notch, and none can be compared to this modern technology. Okay, this is a carbon-neutral product. As far as emissions are concerned, it's zero emissions when you use these oils. So we are not only here to sell and make money, we are also here to protect the environment. So this is an environmentally friendly product that we are bringing to the market.
Kofi Boachi Ajuman is technical lead for Vivo Energy Ghana. And that's it for City Business News on Eyewitness News. The business news on Eyewitness News is brought to you by GCB Bank PLC. GCB Personal Loan, make that big move and dream a reality. My name is Hawa Idrisu Mustafa. Up next is Point Blank.
Hello, Linda. You won't believe what I am planning next.
I want to start my postgraduate degree, buy a car, and build my dream home. But you know what's stopping me?
What's that, Mike?
Money, oh. That be my biggest wahala.
Oh, you are sorted, Cry. With a GCB Big Move personal loan promo, you can borrow up to a whopping 400,000 Ghana cedis at a significantly reduced interest rate in less than 24 hours.
Like, seriously? How do I qualify?
Yes, it's available to all GCB salary account holders. Plus, you get a 2-month grace period before you start to pay back.
Susket, I'm opening an account with GCB now.
Get a personal loan of up to 400,000 Ghana cedis at a significantly reduced interest rate in less than 24 hours. Call 0800-422-422 or visit your nearest GCB branch today to fund your next big move as we celebrate 70 years of greatness. T's and C's apply. GCB Bank, your bank for life.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/City97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/City973, and Instagram at instagram.com/City973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
City TV is live on DSTV, GoTV, and HD+. On DSTV, find us on channel 363. On GoTV, we're on channel 117, and on HD+, get us on channel 108. On a digital TV, run a new search, but take note that without an antenna, you cannot access City TV. City TV can be accessed on any free-to-air digital box like the GoTV and HD+ boxes. City TV, it's your world.
KB, aka Kubeboga, now drives a Bugatti. He can even travel by road from Accra to London. Oh, wow. KB's source of wealth is agriculture. Yes, coconut business. After losing his bank job, he started supplying coconuts at events. Now, he owns large coconut plantations and employs many young people. Charlie, we all need to trust the process, because hope days.
There has never been a better time to enter into agribusiness. Take a bold step today with the Ghana Grows program, because every step pays. Ejuma Wokro, Ghana Grows, Hope Day, an initiative of the MasterCard Foundation in partnership with Springboard Roadshow Foundation and Limehouse.
Are you struggling with navigating the complexities of modern relationships, family differences, office stresses, and everything in between? Whether you're single, in a committed relationship, or simply seeking guidance on self-discovery, Sister provides you with the tools and knowledge to thrive in your relationships. Join Chris Carter and her sisters as they navigate honest conversations, heartfelt stories, and expert advice that will foster a sense of community and sisterhood. Together, they'll tackle the challenges and triumphs of love while celebrating the unique experiences and perspectives of women everywhere. Tune in every week on Thursday at 7 p.m. on 97.3 Citi FM and Friday at 9 p.m. on City TV as the sisters explore the intricacies of love, share personal stories, and offer practical tips for building healthy, fulfilling connections. Sister is proudly sponsored by Gino. Gino truly cares.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
This is Point Blank on Eyewitness News. I am Umaru Sandamadu. Tonight on Point Blank, we go to the Ladade Kotopon constituency. The MPP there some agitations ongoing. One of the spokespersons of the group of MPP persons who are unhappy, is John Danso. He's joined us on the line. Mr. Danso, you're welcome to Eyewitness News.
Thank you very much. Good evening to your viewers.
What is the problem with your constituency in terms of party activities?
Okay, currently the problem that we are having is that last year that all the orphan constituencies had their election, but unfortunately, when they opened the nomination, only Gerard, that is Dr. Gerard Nanyofio, picked the form. So it's like he went unopposed. So now we don't know what happened, and he has stepped down. And the reason why he stepped down is not, they haven't disclosed anything to us. So if the person has stepped down, then according to MPP Constitution Article 12, it says that when there is a primals, we should open nomination for anyone to go. So our simple message is that they should open nomination for all those that they can contest to come and contest. And it seems like the information that we are gathering is that they want to impose the NC on us. And that's what we are trying to resist. If they think that the MC is popular, then he should come for a contest, and that will show the popularity of him. So our message is simple. We want open contest. And we have sent petition across the state, the regional chairman has been petitioned, the national headquarters has been petitioned, and the chief of staff has been petitioned. And today too, they call for a press conference. So that's what is happening at Ladadikotopo constituency.
But have you tried to contest, or anyone tried to contest? Which contest was denied? Because it appears that you're shouting wolf where there's none.
Yes. Right now, as I'm talking, in our various platforms, someone like Kevin has shown interest in this election coming. The MC himself has shown interest, and Mr. Joseph Adu too has shown interest. So why should they impose only one candidate on us? That is the problem that we are having. We want unity to break the eight. We want unity to take La seat back. So that's why we are saying that they should open contest. The one who will win, then we rally behind the person and take the seat. That is a simple message.
Yes, but these people who you said have expressed interest, has anyone prevented them from contesting? Is there any formal communication to that effect?
Yes, even though today we had, they called me at Asempa FM, their ecosystem show. And I explained the way I'm talking to you, and the same way that they called the regional chairman. And the regional chairman was using the NEC executive power to tell us that they have the power to select, and they are for their investigation. They are seeing that the MC is popular, and a person that you are saying is popular and is afraid of contest, then it is better for him rather to come and contest in his own party before meeting the NDC. So if the person is popular, allow him to go through the nail, then we see. That's what we are waiting for. No one is having any interest in this. What we want is unity. Because 2020, these are some of the issues that we lost the seat to NDC. And we don't want to repeat the same thing. So if the party authorities are listening, and I believe that they are listening, they should listen to us. The candidate that you allow yourself to be imposed on us, automatically your work is going to be difficult, because majority of us that we believe in the Constitution is not going to work anymore. That's why we want peace, we want unity, we want contest at Ladadikotopo.
Have you tried to engage with your regional or national executives? Have you tried to speak to your national executive to say that this is what you are fearing?
That's why I was referring. On the 21st of this month, 21st of this month, we went to the national headquarters to petition the General Secretary, Justice Frimpong Kodia. Then on the 26th, we went to the regional headquarters to petition the chairman and the secretary there. Then on 22nd, we petitioned the chief of staff. So all the places all the authorities that we need to send petition to, we have done that. And today we met the press. So I believe that as a good party member, that's what we have done to protect the Constitution.
So it is the regional chairman you do not trust?
The regional chairman, please come again.
You don't trust the regional chairman, do you?
No, it's not like I don't trust. Though they are having the powers, but we too are saying that we are the ones working on the ground. We are the grassroots people. If MPP want to break the 8, I'm setting this on record. If MPP want to break the 8, then they should listen to the grassroots. Because you can impose someone on us, but when I decide not to vote, can someone force me? Nobody can force me. That's why we are pleading with them. We should go through a contest. The one who wins, we join the team. And we rally behind the person and we take the seat back. That's what we want.
Very well. Thank you so much for speaking to us. That's John Danso. He's a member of the MPP in the Ladadekotopon constituency. They are not happy with the events that are happening there. They say there's a plan to impose the MCE on them as their parliamentary candidate. Divine Otu Agohom is the regional chairman of the MPP in Greater Accra. Mr. Agohom, you're welcome to Eyewitness News.
Thank you.
Your party members in Dadekotopon are not happy. They say that there's a plan to impose a candidate on them. What are the facts available to the party in the region?
Okay. Good evening to your listeners. Yes, as you may be aware, we opened nomination in the Ofan constituencies. At the end of the exercise, only 1% picked nomination for Gerard and you feel our candidate for 2020 elections. So we went through the vetting and eventually acclaimed him as our candidate for Ladadekotopon. Along the line, for whatever reason, I think his interest in the contest waned. So a decision was taken to have him replaced. The party's arrangement is that we can, in search of candidates to represent us in any of the constituencies, we can either do that by elections or by selection. So, because we don't have time, we open nomination. At the end of the day, as I said earlier, only one person picked the nomination form. So it isn't the case that, somebody is interested in contesting and he or she has been denied that opportunity. We did open nomination and then we closed it. We went through the process and then we acclaimed Gerard as our candidate. Gerard lost interest in the contest, and so an opportunity is there for us to look for another candidate. As we speak now, we don't have time, and so NEC took decision that we should go with the MCE. Now it is for the party to get down to the constituency and communicate the decision of NEC to the party in the constituency. We have not done that as yet. All the needed engagement that we have to do, we have the Council of Elders, we have other senior members of the party in the constituency. We are engaging all of them so that we'll be able to get everybody on board. When we are done with that, we'll have a constituency general meeting and then inform them of the decision of NEC. Somehow, the decision got to them, earlier than we could get to the constituency, and that is what is generating the kind of tension that we have now. But it isn't the case that we did not give whoever is interested in contesting the opportunity to pick form. This is the situation now.
So this decision to make the MCE your candidate is it has a blessing of NEC, the National Council of Executive Committee of the party.
Yes, so and the party constitution is that once NEC takes decision, every member of the party is supposed to go by that. But the question is that, have we informed the grassroots? No. We are yet to get this communication down to the constituency, the polling station, the very base.
Why the delay in doing that?
I have explained to you that, you need to get all the stakeholders on board. We've invited the constituency leadership, plus the Council of Elders, to meet the General Secretary at the National Office. We have done this. We've gone past this. But you see, the party chairman was bereaved. And so we're waiting for him to go through the process. We just buried the mother this past Saturday. So we would, and the council chairman, as you speak now, is in Germany. He is also on another program in Germany. So we are waiting to bring all these people together. This process, you need to get all the key stakeholders involved. If you don't do it like that, there will be chaos.
Now that your party members say the decision is unpopular, will you reverse it?
Well, if that becomes necessary, then of course we'll have to look at it. Once it's a NEC decision, if we have to reverse it, we need to go back to NEC. So we have to do all these engagement, all these stakeholder engagement, and make sure that whatever decision we are taking should be in the best interest of the party. And I'm sure that we'll be able to finish that within a week and then get back.
Very well. Thank you so much for speaking to us.
You're welcome, Omar.
That's Divine Otuha Go Home. He's a Greater Accra Regional Chairman of the New Patriotic Party. And that's how we end tonight's edition of the show, Eyewitness News. My name is Umaru Sanda Amado. I did this with Hawa Idrisu Mustafa. Production by Kobna Wilson, Beverly London, and Sami Uyafi. Technical support from Daniel Squashi. New media support from Edwin Kwakofi, as well as Daniel Abogre Anyoriga. We'll be back tomorrow at 17:30 GMT. Thank you for listening. Have a good night.